All right, here we go. Thanks for everyone coming out this morning. Again, Jason McClellan. We have Mark Covert with us from Insurance Advisors Direct, and we have Dimitri Simos from GTL. We're excited to have you with us and excited for you to hear more about these products and how you can use them in your sales practices. So at this moment, I'm going to go ahead and turn this presentation over to Dimitri. And Dimitri, take it away.
Oh, great. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Jason, for hosting this presentation this morning, and I guess we're going to get right into it because I know everyone's got probably busy days, and want to make sure you guys utilize as much time as you can to do what you guys are good at, and which is selling. So a little bit about Guarantee Trust Life. I wanted to kind of go over a little bit about the company because I think that's important, and your clients are going to probably ask you, who is GTL? Everyone knows us in the industry as GTL. You know, if you say Guarantee Trust Life, they say who, but when you say GTL, they kind of know who you're talking about. We are located just north of Chicago in a suburb called Glenview, Illinois. We were founded in 1936 by the Holson family, and currently we're being led. So our chairman, CEO, and president of the company is third generation Holson. His name's Richard S. Holson III, and so we've been in business now for 80 years, which as a mutual company, 80 years of business in the health and accident world and some life, that's pretty a remarkable story, to be able to survive, from the midst of depressions back in 1936 when it started to everything's been going on over the years, that probably a small to mid-sized company that we are doing great. And, from a financial perspective, we haven't had as, much success as we've had in the more recent years. So everything's looking great from a company side of it all. We're with an AM Best perspective. In case you're wondering about that, we are a B++ rated company. We're looking to probably in the next couple of years. It's a slow process, but in the next couple of years we're forecasting everything should be okay to get an A rating with AM Best. So. Definitely, things are looking up and going in the right direction from a GTL perspective. Advantage Plus. I know probably a lot of you have heard about Advantage Plus over the time frame, or some of you already may be contracted with GTL, so this may be a little bit more refresher course for you. But for those of you that aren't familiar with Advantage Plus, I kind of like to do a little bit of a history lesson here about the hospital indemnity plan, because it's important to understand where the product came from. And GTL as a company, we've been doing hospital indemnity plans since the early 1970s. So it's not a stranger to us, in terms of indemnity insurance. But in 2005, when Medicare Advantage plans were kind of coming out onto the marketplace, there was a lot of buzz around at that time, and everyone was trying to figure out what are these plans going to look like and so forth. So as the plans were introduced, we took a look at it with some of our field partners and determined that, yes, it could be a good option for a segment of the population, and here's the pros and here's the cons. And one of the biggest cons that we did see out of the plans, as you guys all would know, is that there was copays and out-of-pocket exposure for the clients. Thus, since we had a history of hospital indemnity plans, we said, well, let's create a hospital indemnity plan, that could probably fit what the clients are going to need, that'll have a plan like an MA type plan. So thus the Advantage Plus was born in 2005. So we've been doing this now for 10 years, and it's been a wildly successful product for GTL. And for the agents that are using the plan religiously, they're finding themselves being super successful themselves. So that's a little bit of the history on the product and how it came to be, why it was created, and so forth. So a lot of folks will say, will ask me, why sell the Advantage Plus in general? From an agent perspective, you want to keep your clients. And what does that mean? That means that if you offer the Advantage Plus, you're taking care of that out-of-pocket copays and exposure that the client has. Another agent can't come up behind, after you and say, well, I'll go with my plan, and I'll even show how I can take care of that exposure. If you do that on the front end for your clients, they're going to end up staying with you because there's nothing for another agent to talk about that what you already haven't talked to them about. Important key here is create a satisfied client. Well, a satisfied client we all know is a happy client. So happy clients we want to deal with a lot more because they're going to be able to provide us some additional opportunities. So what's those additional opportunities? You're going to be able to increase your referrals, because you got a happy client. They're going to be satisfied with what you've done for them. But the key thing with the referrals is that you got to make sure you ask for them. A lot of agents they say, well, I don't get leads, I don't get referrals, and so the easy question that I always ask is, do you ask? And a lot of times you'd be surprised that they say no. So remember to ask for the referrals because they're there. If you got happy clients by doing what you do, you're gonna get referrals. Because one thing, folks in general, doesn't matter if it's the senior population or underage, if they got something that somebody else doesn't have, they're gonna want to beat their chest a little bit and say, hey, I got this. You should get this too. So I'm gonna give you my guy. Another important piece here from an agent's perspective is you get to increase your first-year commissions and be able to build renewals. So that's obviously not a bad deal from your guys' perspective. From a client perspective, they should get the Advantage Pluses because you want to be able to pay pennies on the dollar to be able to get access to some really good, hefty benefits for that could help them take care of their out-of-pocket exposure that they have. They want to get protection for out-of-pocket, and then you're also going to give them an option of alternative coverage options. So it's, a lot of folks that they say, oh, this plan has copays. I'm only going to sell one option only. I'll be offering one plan type to my client. That's it. Well, by knowing that you can cover that out-of-pocket exposure, you can gives you another product package that you can talk to them about to be able to offer to the clients and give your client the option of saying, would you like a Medicare supplement or would you like the Medicare Part C and add on a hospital indemnity plan? So you got some provide some options there. So we all know that there's copays. These are the typical type of copays that we see in the market today: the hospital, ambulance, outpatient, skilled nursing, dental, cancer. If you're dealing with those kind of copays, the Advantage Plus can definitely help the client take care of their needs and exposure that they have. So let's get into the actual plan itself because I think it's important that we talk about the nuts and bolts of the product, and so part of the nuts and bolts of it is that the base plan is a daily confinement benefit, daily hospital benefit. So daily confinement benefit is the base plan. You're going to have 4 options typically to choose from a benefit period perspective: 3, 6, 10, or 21-day benefit periods. The benefit periods do restore if the insured's out of the hospital for 61 days or longer. Doesn't matter if the insured used only 1 day or if they used 10 days or 7 days, whatever that number is. If they've been out of the hospital for 61 days or longer, they'll have restoration occur to a full benefit period again. If they were hospitalized twice within let's say a 2-month period, which let's say a month and a half period, as long as there's remaining days left on their benefit period, they will receive whatever days are remaining from that. I'll go through an example on how a benefit period could work just to kind of help clarify that a little bit. The 3-day benefit period, it's important to understand that there is a minimum daily benefit amount that can be purchased with the various daily benefit periods, the benefit periods. So a 3-day is at $350 to a maximum of $600. A 6-day benefit period has a minimum of $250 per day to $600. The 10-day benefit period, which is our traditional plan that we've had out since 2005, is $100 to $600, along with the 21-day, which is $100 to $600. Now, the benefits that you can choose from for your clients could be in $10 increments. So that there's a positive to the $10 increments in that you can really dial it down to what your client can afford. I will tell you, you'll hear me talk through this presentation that just because your copay is only $250, let's say, for your client, that's not necessarily what you might want to offer them. You might want to offer them $20 more per day. You might want to offer them $50 more per day because, we know things are going to change, over the course of time, and having a higher benefit amount would be beneficial. Some folks go 50, some folks go 30, some folks go 20, just depending on the person's budget. Some additional benefits as part of the base plan is an emergency room benefit. That emergency room benefit is $150 for emergency room expenses as long as they're admitted within 24 hours due to an accident. Then the other benefit that's part of the base is a mental health benefit, which provides $175 per day up to 7 days if confined to a mental health facility. So let's go over a little bit of an example here of how the base plan would restore itself. If I had a 10-day benefit period, the policyholder has a 5-day hospital stay, then goes home, but no additional hospital stays after 60 consecutive days, they're going to get a brand new 10-day benefit period. So let's say the policyholder has a 5-day hospital stay and then returns to the hospital within 60 days for 5 more days. Then they're going to get paid the additional 5 days because remember they have a 10-day benefit period. They were in for 5 days, which means one period of care for from an MA perspective. So they're going to get 5-day benefit from GTL. They go back in within 60 days for another 5 days. That's a second period of care from an MA perspective. So they're going to have another copay to pay. So they get another 5-day benefit, which in total will equal 10. Then once they're out of the hospital for 60 days or longer, then they'll get the benefit period restored to a full 10-day benefit period again. So it's very, very beneficial to make sure to understand the benefits of how that restoration works, because it could make a lot of sense for the clients. Okay, so what the purpose of this slide here, guys, is I think the animation doesn't work on this. So the purpose of the slide is to remind me that that GTL has been doing this for 10 years. We've been in the forefront of the market when it comes to hospital indemnity, and we've been listening to what's been going on out there in the market. So here's what the point of all this slide is that you're going to find out that since 2006, the usage by hospitals of the observation coding or status from an admittance perspective has grown to be over 93% since 2006. That's a huge increase. Why is that observation status important to know why that number matters? Is because many of the other plans out there that are hospital indemnity plans won't pay for a daily confinement if the client has an observation status for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever number of days. But as long as that we've seen come in as a claim has been a 5-day observation status that a hospital had insured in the hospital for 5 days. That was under observation. And GTL paid that claim just like it would as if it was a confinement at full benefit. We don't reduce benefit because somebody's on observation for the first 3 days and give you only 50% when the client's expecting 300. They need 300 because that's what their copay is. They're not worried about if the hospital coded it as observation or not. So we figured as long as they're in the hospital for a 24-hour period and their observation or confinement status, they're going to get full benefit, which means they're going to be a happy client, which again leads to more opportunities from your perspective. Now, some of the riders that are available with the Advantage Plus are an ambulance rider. The ambulance rider is a rider you should add on to every application that you submit. It's a $200 per trip benefit. It's payable 4 times per year. There is a $2,500 lifetime maximum. The neat thing about this rider, which is different than that's what's out in the market, other plans that are out in the market today, is that we don't require a confinement to the hospital to be able to get access to this benefit. So no confinement. So that means that if your client goes to the emergency room via ambulance and then they get discharged a few hours later, then they can still file a claim on the ambulance benefit. That'd be great, right? So it's 4 times per year. Or if they're in the hospital and they need to be transferred from the hospital to another medical facility, that'd be qualified for another $200 benefit for the ambulance trip. So it's a very nice rider and very inexpensive for the client to be able to have. We also offer a skilled nursing rider. This skilled nursing rider provides day one benefit for an insured going into the skilled nursing facility. Day 1 to 50, they get 100, 150, 200. I know a lot of folks who ask me during when I talk with them, they ask, well, you know, my plan doesn't have a copay for the first 20 days, but then they do from days 20 to X number of days past. And I said, well, that's not a problem. Just because they don't have a copay, it doesn't mean that they can't get the benefit. This is an indemnity policy, so as long as they're in the skilled nursing facility, you know, staying in a room there for as long as if they're in there for a full 50 days, they'll get at $100 benefit level, they'll get $5,000. And then so if they had a copay from days 20 to whatever it may be, they could use what they gathered for the first 20 days and apply it towards it. It's all, you know, it'd be all doesn't matter how that would work out. We'll still pay the client. At $150 a day, that's $7,500 of benefit if they were in there for a full 50 days. At $200 of daily benefit, that's $10,000 of benefit that they can receive for being in a skilled nursing facility. The skilled nursing facility is also restorable, just like the base plan. So if they're out of the skilled nursing facility for 61 days or longer, the benefit will restore itself. We also offer a lump sum hospital rider. Lump sum hospital rider is it will provide a lump sum amount in addition to the daily benefit amount upon the first day of being confined in a hospital or under observation. So if you're insured, let's say you're talking to a client, and they have a plan that is a day one $900 benefit, and you want to take care of the majority of that. You can do, for example, $100 a day of 10-day benefit period, add a lump sum hospital rider, and then so day one that they're in the hospital, they're going to get $850. Then each additional day, they'll also get their $100 for being confined for each additional day. And then that hospital rider, lump sum hospital rider, does restore the same as the base, 61 days of being out of the hospital. Outpatient surgery rider is a benefit that goes from $250 to $1,000. That's payable 2 times per calendar year for an outpatient surgical procedure. So that's another nice rider that keep in mind when you're looking at from a rate perspective, that is based on 2 times per calendar year. So that's and one of the things that I always try to remind myself, and that's why we put it down at the bottom here in red, is that if you work in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana, you want to make sure that you're using the state-specific forms for your particular state that you're in at that time. Remember, everything's based on the resident state of your client. So if you're in Michigan, you might have XYZ type, the whole package, available to you. But if you're in another state, the other state might not have a particular rider, or the rider might be a little different. Just be aware and have the appropriate forms when working in other states in your home state. Really exciting news here is that here in the past, probably about the last 7-8 months here, we came out with some new benefits available for the Advantage Plus. Now, the short duration hospital stay benefit is a brand new benefit, and because we've been, like I said at the beginning, we've been doing this for 10 years. We've been able to do some data mining, and we found that folks, tend to send in quite a few claims for being when they were hospitalized for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 hours, and then they were discharged, so they weren't quite in the hospital for a full 24 hours. So they weren't eligible to get a benefit, unfortunately. So by the creation of this short duration stay benefit, if the client gets admitted to the hospital under observation or confinement, and they're discharged between 12 to 24 hours, they'll still be eligible to get 1 day's worth of daily confinement benefit under this benefit here. Now the short duration benefit here is available as a rider on the 10 and 21 day benefit period options. But if you're using the 3 and 6 day benefit period, it's going to be built in to the base rates automatically. So you're not going to have to do anything if you're using 3 and 6 day benefit periods. But if you are doing the 10 and 21-day benefit periods, make sure you check off and click off the rider on that. Now, something really exciting, I really think this is a great benefit, the lump sum cancer benefit. The lump sum cancer benefit here is $2,500 to $20,000, and we're also offering this with an optional recurrence benefit. And what does that mean? That means that you can, if you don't choose the recurrence benefit, if your client gets paid on the lump sum benefit, let's say they took $10,000 of coverage, they get diagnosed with a growth spreading cancer, they get $10,000 from GTL, then their rider would terminate. And then any premium that they would need to pay would terminate. Now, if you chose a recurrence benefit, now they'll keep this rider in force, and I'll explain how the recurrence part will work a couple slides down here. Now, also part of the lump sum cancer rider is a 25% benefit for cancer in situ. Cancer in situ is a type of cancer that is localized, has not spread to the surrounding cells. And that's a one-time benefit. 25% of the benefit chosen does not reduce what the benefit is if they do get diagnosed with a growth-spreading cancer down the road. Also, a lot of folks, I'm sure we all know folks that get this type of cancer. It's squamous or basal cell skin cancer. They'll be able to receive a $500 payment one time per year and 3 times over the life of the rider. So they can get in total of $1,500 for your basic everyday skin cancer from being out in the sun too much, going to the dermatologist and having that removed, and then they keep on going with your day. So it's a very non-threatening type of cancer. In addition to the lump sum cancer, we've also added a dental vision rider, which would provide annual maximum benefits of $400, $800, and $1,200, and I'll talk more about that in the next couple of slides. Cancer, from a cancer perspective, I really like to hit home hard with the cancer, to be quite honest with you. I think the cancer is something that is an important benefit to add on to a hospital indemnity plan and for protection for folks that are on an MA plan, because a radiation chemotherapy copay on an MA plan is 20%, which gets applied to the maximum out of pocket. And when I look at the top of that slide there, if you can see that there, it's 50% of the men, 33% of women will be diagnosed with some form of cancer during their lifetime. Those numbers are high, and I think if you add a $10,000 in my ideal world, a $10,000 cancer benefit, the cost is relatively cheap in relation to what they can do with a $10,000 benefit. $29.75 a month to be able to get access to $10,000. If you did the math, which I encourage you always to do the math, take a look at it, and see how long would it take for a client to save, let's call it $30 a month, before it equals $10,000. I can tell you it's not going to take 5 years. It's going to be more like over 25 years, for them saving $30 a month to be able to have $10,000. And so the $10,000 can be a really, really big deal for a client. There's a couple of reasons why 10,000 is my ideal number. One reason is that we don't know when the diagnosis of cancer is going to occur. So if cancer was diagnosed to a client towards the end of a given year and they started the radiation chemotherapy treatment, we all know radiation chemotherapy is a very expensive procedure and process. And for 2016, for example, we're going to hit the maximum out of pocket really quick, because radiation chemotherapy is $60, $70 grand. Probably on the low end these days, but we know in 2016 we're going to hit that maximum out of pocket of $6,700. And then going into 2017, what happens January 1st? The MA plan is going to reset. So that means if you're doing radiation chemotherapy, you're going to have to pay out of pocket again another maximum out of pocket amount. Client would. So they're going to have some extra dollars left over to be able to help them take care of that second maximum out of pocket if necessary there. So that's one thing. Or maybe they're not. Maybe your plan has a network, in-network and out-of-network copay scenario. If your client chooses to go out-of-network for cancer, their out-of-network copay could be $10,000. So A lot of folks also, so that's another. Those are the two reasons why I like it from to add on with the hospital indemnity plan here. But a lot of folks will ask, well, how do you start the conversation regarding cancer? It's a very simple conversation starter. It's just saying, hey, do you know anybody who's been touched by cancer? A friend, family member, and we all know probably someone's going to say, yep, sure do, and then they're so they're going to understand that by just telling them what the benefits are according to their plan. I think it's going to make a lot of sense for most clients. Now the recurrence benefit here is this is how if someone gets diagnosed with cancer and then we get paid out by the lump sum cancer benefit, this is how it would work. So if I get diagnosed, I get my $10,000 of benefit from GTL after treatment, and then I am deemed to be in remission. That's when my clock starts. So if I were to be 5 years or longer cancer-free, and then I get diagnosed with the same or different type of cancer, I would be eligible for 100% of my original benefit. If the diagnosis of cancer occurred in the 4th year, then I get 50%. If it occurred in 2 or 3 years, 25%. After 1 year, I get 10%. So what the example here was is that after being in remission, I get diagnosed with cancer, and then I get diagnosed again, I would get another $10,000 from GTL. And then once I go into remission again on the second occurrence of cancer, then my clock starts again. There isn't a limit to how many times the recurrence benefit would reset itself. So there is a 30-day wait on the cancer benefit, so keep that in mind also. But from the time of the policy being issued, but again, it's a very nice benefit, and it definitely gives some good peace of mind for the clients. Dental vision rider. Now, this is something that we just came out with here this past fall. Dental vision rider. The way it works is that it's an annual maximum benefit of $400, $800, or $1,200 of benefit to the client. What happens in year one is after the calendar year deductible is satisfied, 80% of actual charges up to 50% of the maximum benefit level is available to the client. Now, keep in mind when I say 80% of actual charges, we don't have a network that we work with. It's off of what the doctor's bills are that we would reimburse a client. Now, in year two, after the calendar year is satisfied, the calendar year deductible is satisfied, 80% of actual charges up to 100% of the maximum benefit level that was chosen would be available to the client. Now, once the policy is issued or the rider is put into effect, after a 3-month waiting period, they would be able to get up to $75 for preventative dental, which is basically one appointment per year, and then up to $50 for one basic eye exam or refraction per calendar year. Now, the $100 annual deductible does not apply to the preventative benefits here. Okay, so the benefits that are part of the 3-month waiting period, that would not be subject to a $100 deductible. Now, after 6 months, clients can get benefits for their fillings or root canal treatment up to the rider maximum, or they can get $200 per prescription eyewear or contacts. Now, after 12 months, again, 80% benefits paid for bridges, crowns, full dentures, partials, treatment, and natural teeth or outpatient dental surgery, full mouth extractions, and so forth. Now, one of the caveats to this 12-month waiting period is that if a client has existing bridges or dentures, but they need to be repaired due to an injury, we would waive the 12-month period for that situation. If you're wondering where the Advantage Plus is currently, it's available in all these states that are in green. So 46 states. If you're doing business in California, New York, New Hampshire, and Vermont, can't help you there. We don't have the product available there, but in every other state, it's definitely there. So definitely have a lot of options in terms of who to speak with. Underwriting is always the fun part of conversation because this is an easy part of the policy here. It's a simplified jet issue policy. We don't do an MIB. We don't do a phone interview. We don't do RX checks or anything of that nature. All that occurs is that when you're speaking with your client and they agree to the coverage, you go through the application questions. If they answer yes to any of the questions, they won't qualify for the plan. If they answer no, That's great. Go ahead and submit the application, and then we'll issue a policy. All the questions on the first 5 questions are going to have a 12-month look-back period. On the cancer questions, those will have a 5-year look-back, which basically the basic questions are, in the last 5 years, have you been diagnosed or treated for cancer? Unique feature about our Advantage Plus product is that we do have a guarantee issue period from age 64 and a half to age 65 and a half. So what does that mean? That means that anybody that is in that range of age can get the product without answering the first 5 health questions. Those folks that are aging into Medicare and they're type 1 diabetics, or they already had some heart problems, or some situations like that, they'll get the coverage automatically, no questions asked. So it's great. It's a nice opportunity for them. It's a good selling opportunity for you to be able to point that out to them and say, hey, this is the only time I can get this for you. You're a type 1 diabetic. I'm not going to be able to get you some access to additional dollars if you were to get hospitalized for a really small premium. The cancer benefit is not guaranteed issue, so keep that in mind. You always have to answer the cancer questions. From a pre-existing condition standpoint, there's always going to be a pre-ex. Doesn't matter if a client answered the question or if it was guaranteed issue. If the client was treated within the past 6 months of the application being issued, and then that treatment of whatever they were treated for led for them to be hospitalized or try to make claim on the on the policy, there's going to be a 6-month pre-ex there. If it's something that came out of the blue, let's say I was perfectly healthy, I haven't seen a doctor for anything, and then I have the policy in force for a week, and then I have a heart attack, that's fine. There'll be a covered claim, not a problem for the client there. It's just for the things that are going to be pre-ex, or we're going to have to just make sure that the client understands and we've got to be clear with the client about that. There isn't an annual policy fee. There is a one-time application fee. If you do a husband and wife at the same time, we're only going to ask for one application fee. We don't have to have an application fee for both the husband and wife, so it helps out the clients there in that regard. The issue ages for the product are from ages 40 to age 85. The ambulance rider is issuable up to age 80, and the rates are based on issue age. So if a client was 65 years old and their premium was $30 a month, then they're going to expect to pay that premium for the years to come. It doesn't go up based on age. Can we do rate increases? Yes, we can. If the block of business goes in a bad direction and we needed to make some adjustments, we could do that by filing to the Department of Insurances and asking for rate increases. But the nice thing also about the plan is that it's guaranteed renewable for life. So if you have a client that's paying their premium on a monthly basis consistently, and they're 90 years old, they're going to keep getting coverage as long as they're paying their premium. Not a problem. I'd like to take probably a little bit of a break of all the all the kind of the informational stuff and kind of really just kind of talk more a little about from a sales idea perspective. First time to Medicare, you got options with Advantage Plus. You can talk Medicare supplement, and you can offer a hospital indemnity plan, $100 a day, 10-day benefit period. So that this way, if they're in the hospital, they'll have some extra dollars for any kind of miscellaneous things that may occur from the hospital stays, maybe needing to buy some, equipment or cover co-pays on prescription drugs. There's a lot of things, that they can use the extra $100 a day or $200 a day, whatever the client may have a need for. I can tell you that concept really, I learned about that concept of selling MedSup with a small amount of hospital indemnity, quite frankly, through what AARP does. AARP does that very well. They sell a bunch of MedSup, and they sell a whole ton of hospital indemnity at $100 a day, to their MedSup clients. And also, first time to Medicare, it gives your client the option of what to do, in terms of when they're aging in. You can say, well, Mr. Client, here's your option. You got Medicare supplement, or you have an option of Medicare Part C, and we can add on a hospital indemnity plan for between $25 to $60 a month. That'll take care of the major co-pays that you're going to have with this plan. So That's what can happen for the first time, the Medicare scenarios. If the client already has an MAPD plan, that's great. Your response is glad to hear it. The next question is did your agent discuss how some of your larger copays could be covered? And then most of the time, a lot of times, because I can tell you, there's not everybody does this religiously. A lot of times, they're going to say, "What do you mean cover my out-of-pocket copays?" And being that you're familiar with that area because you're there, you can say, "Well, you have the XYZ plan. It's going to have a copay of this amount for this many days. I can take care of that for X amount of dollars." And then what ends up happening is that you end up getting an Advantage Plus client today, but when it comes to the next AEP, when it comes for renewal time, you're going to get a new an MA client also. So then, because you're able to help them with protecting against that out-of-pocket exposure. Client has an MAPD plan with a premium. Even though they may have a premium on their MAPD plan, the copays are typically a little less. They're still going to be responsible for a copay amount. So it's still going to be important to be able to discuss with them, what their options are in terms of protecting against that. A lot of folks always say, "Well, that person has a premium on their MA plan. I can't do anything more for them." Well, of course you can. In the MedSup world, it's typically MedSups are typically $100, $120 a month, starting out in the young ages, and then they go up as you get older. Well, if you did the MAPD plan with a premium, those are typically going to be a relatively stable cost because that's what at least over the years, that's what I've seen. And then knowing that the hospital indemnity plan is a issue age product, you'll be able to create a really stable cost structure for the client where they're probably paying either the combined premium for a month, or the following year, if that plan happens to go to zero premium, then you knock off the MAPD premium and they go zero premium MA, and then you keep the hospital indemnity plan in place. So there's a lot of play that you can do there. This is an idea that I really learned from a guy that helped out a lot with the development of the Advantage Plus, and in his area, he has by the same company a MA plan that offers both a premium and zero premium plans. And the thing that he noticed when he was looking at the zero premium versus the premium plans was that the real main differences really were the copays were a little less on the premium plans than they were on the zero plan. And so he said, "Well, why wouldn't I take this? Why wouldn't I take the zero premium plan with a higher copay that I would pay? So let's say for example, let's say the zero premium plan was $300 of daily benefit, and let's say the MA premium plan was $225 of copay for $49 a month. So his argument was that I'm paying $49 a month on my premium for my premium MA plan. I'm still have a copay of $225 for X number of days. Well, if I took a zero premium plan and I only have a $300 copay for X number of days, and I add a hospital indemnity plan that's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of, somewhere around the neighborhood of the same premium that the MA plan was having, I take care of the exposure for the client in total for that same dollars. And I'm putting a second product into the client's into that household, so then now I'm embedding myself even more, and I'm generating an additional commission on top of it all. So make sure when you're looking at your market, see if there's opportunities there for you that way. How to submit business with GTL? We have a couple different ways here. You have the agent portal, which is our online web application process. Very easy to use. Just go to gtlic.com. If you're contracted with us, you log in, you go to agent portal, you do a quote, and then you start filling out the application. And then once you get right to the end of the application, you're going to want to do a voice verification call through a third-party vendor that we use. It's a live verification service. You go ahead and do the voice verification call. It takes about 2.5 to 3 minutes to complete. Once they complete the application, the voice verification call, then they'll get off the line, and then you continue with your client. You hit submit application. within 5 minutes, application policy will be issued to your client. iPad applications also available, but you would need to have a hotspot off of your phone, or if your iPad has a cell service scenario, you have to be connected to the internet. And if you go to the App Store and you type in GTL Mobile Agent, they'll bring up the iPad app for you, and you can download onto your iPad, and you can, as long as you're connected to the client, do an application right there in front of your client, capture a signature via stylus or their finger, and then submit the application, and again, 5 minutes, get the application issued. I'm a little bit more of I like the paper thing myself, but so if I take paper and I want to do first month's premium and draft it, I can email it or fax it into GTL. We don't need the original copy sent in. You can keep that for your records. If you want to email your application with a voided check and such to our underwriting area directly, please. That's the preferred method, quite frankly. You can send it to und@gtlic.com. If you don't have the ability to scan an application and attach it to an email, you still have a fax. The fax number for underwriting is 847-699-8493. Or if you do take the first month's premium along with the application, then go ahead and submit the two together and mail it into GTL at 1275 Milwaukee Avenue in Glenview, Illinois 60025. Now, these are what our marketing materials look like here. We have a trifold brochure which can be used, just to be able to send out to your clients with a letter saying, thank you for your business, appreciate it. Just got brought to my attention for a plan here that could be a benefit to you to help protect you against your out-of-pocket exposure. I'd love to spend some time with you to talk about this. I enclose here's a brochure for your review. I will be following up with you in the next couple of days to set up a time. And then you can put that first brochure right into a letter with an envelope, and then mail that off to your clients. Then you can stamp it with your contact information on it if you like, or sticker it, or there's a little spot up front there for that. Then we have our regular basic client brochure, rate sheets, outline coverage, and apps, and so forth. So all that can be definitely ordered through our sales support area. For those of you that may have already written some hospital indemnity plan or Advantage Plus with GTL, we do allow for obviously increasing benefits because things do change. You can add a daily benefit amount at if you already have an existing policy at a $50 of daily benefit or higher. Or if you want to add riders, you can add just the particular riders. If you don't want to include everything that the client already has, if you're increasing benefits, you only want to put on an application just the portions that they want to add to or increase amount of. When you're doing increasing benefits, you have to complete an application and submit that in, and then we'll get that added on or issued to your client. Now, if you're interested in the dental vision rider for your clients, we can add the dental vision rider very easily. It's a guarantee issue scenario there. So you have a conversation with the client, you tell them X amount, go ahead and add that $800 of annual maximum benefit. They can contact our policyholder services and tell them that they want to add that, and we'll add that on their next draft. On their next draft date, it'll be put into effect at that time. Or, we have forms for everything. So there's a form also if you want to use a form instead of having the client call a policyholder services there. If you want to complete the form, have the client sign it, you sign it, and then submit it to underwriting via email, you're more than welcome to do it that way too. Now we're getting more to the fun parts of this. From at least my perspective, this is the fun part. I like talking about premium and benefits and stuff. So I kind of put a comparison here. If you did a 3-day benefit period at $350 a daily benefit, because since that is the minimum, I did a 6-day benefit period at $250 of daily benefit, since that's its minimum, and then I did a 10-day benefit at $250 of daily benefit, and I want to do that just to be apples to apples with a 6-day, and then also a 21-day benefit period at $250. I want to take a look at the premiums that you've got in the first column there. 3-day benefit at $350 a day, $22.84 a month, 6-day, $22.58 a month, 10-day, $25.54, and then $38.49 for 21-day. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the 3 and 6-day benefit period includes a short stay premium rider. Okay, so that's already included. That does not change the number. If you add the short stay premium rider to the 10-day benefit period, look at the price difference of $25.54 to $26.40. That's less than $1 a month to add that benefit of being able to get 1 day's worth of daily confinement benefit if they were discharged between 12 to 24 hours. That's something that you need to be adding 100% of the time, guys. But I won't digress. Now, if you look at the last column there, a total benefit paid of $1,050 on a 3-day benefit period. If somebody was in the hospital for 6 days, they'd get $1,500. And if somebody was in the hospital for 10 days, full 10 days, they'd get $2,500. Now, the thing about this $2,500 is that I will tell you that the 10-day benefit period makes the most amount of sense. The reason why this makes the most amount of sense is that, I think I alluded to it more in the beginning, is that things will change. So today you might be dealing with a 6-day copay. Next year we might go to 7, 8. We don't know. But a 10-day will pretty much, take care of your client for years to come at least. And secondly, what happens again if your client goes in the hospital twice within the 2 months before the restoration occurs of the benefit period? And again, the MA plan, if each time you go in the hospital, that's a new period of care, so they're going to have to pay a new copay amounts up until they hit their maximum out of pocket. So it definitely makes a lot of sense to do a 10-day benefit period at $250, because the price difference, quite frankly, of a little less than $4 a month, to be able to potentially get access to $1,000 more. I think it's a great steal for your clients, quite frankly. So here's if we put the Advantage Plus together as kind of a total package. Let's look at the 6 and 10-day benefit periods here. Those are really going to be probably the primary ones you're going to want to work with. If you added the ambulance rider, it's $4.20 a month, so it's about $26, $27 a month if you did a 6-day with an ambulance. If it was a 10-day, it would be around $30 a month. If you add the cancer benefit, now on this example here, I did a cancer benefit at $32. I did a cancer benefit at $5,000 because I was trying to be realistic about the cost basis. And being realistic about the cost basis for the client, I thought was important, because I want to try to keep the cost reasonable again. So $5,000 with recurrence benefit, that's $1,838. So if I had monthly benefit, ambulance, and cancer, I'm looking at about, on the 10-day benefit period side, I'm looking at about $48 a month. If I added the skilled nursing, that would get me to about $66 a month. Okay, but now that's not a bad premium overall. Either way, because that's going to be a pretty steady cost for your clients. So you can remove the cancer and just have skilled nursing, which would keep it at about $47 a month. Or if you kept skilled nursing on and did cancer, you'd still be looking at about $48 a month. For an example, the dental vision cost at $800 of annual benefit at age 65 is $32.26 a month. $32.26 a month. One of the nice things here about the dental vision benefit is that it gets paid the same commission rate as what you would get paid for the hospital indemnity plan. So there's not a different schedule for the dental vision. So when you talk to Jason and his team regarding getting contracted and the commissions, know that if you add the dental vision, there'll be there's nothing different about it for you. So it could be a very nice step up for you. Now here's some little points here to kind of drive home about the benefit that if the client gives you is really not getting it. I guess is a good way to put it. If a client was hospitalized for 1 day and they took an ambulance to get there, that's a $200 copay, let's say, and then their hospital copay was $250. Their out-of-pocket exposure would be $450. So if I were just to cover just the ambulance and the $250 of hospitalization on a 10-day benefit period basis,
my annual premium would be $377 for that particular client. So one day on the hospital, they would have gotten more from GTL than what they would have paid. So that's a good benefit there for the client, right? Now I told you that you might if your copay is $250, you might want to offer them $300 just to kind of hedge against future changes in the years to come. So if the same scenario, if you did it based on $300 of benefit to the client, their annual cost would be $443 at age 65. So they'd be able to use the $250 towards the hospital copay and still have the extra $50 to use however they want to use it. There's a number of different ways that folks are offering plans or selling in general, but you got the good, better, best approach. You can make that up to however you want to make that. The reason why a lot of folks like this good, better, best approach is that most folks are going to go with the better or best because nobody just wants to be good. So that's a couple different ways you can look at doing that. And completing an application, this is what the application looks like, guys. It's a two-person app, so you can do a husband and wife on one application. Again, only one application fee if you're doing a husband and wife. Make sure that the client signs the draft forms, and make sure you put your agent code on there. That's really important because we want to make sure we get you paid commissions appropriately. And then again, use your correct state versions. Now, if you're doing a guarantee issue, like I mentioned towards the beginning, just put a big red X through it if you're not doing any cancer benefit. Make sure you do answer the replacement question there. If you're doing guarantee issue but doing cancer, put a red X through the first 5 questions, but make sure you answer the lump sum cancer questions. And again, the replacement question, make sure you take care of that. I've been doing this for a number of years, and I've kind of come across some interesting stuff. And so I guess what do successful agents have to do to be successful with cross-selling hospital indemnity plans? They present it 100% of the time on every appointment that they go to, and then they talk about their plans. There's no fail about that. Why do they do it 100% of the time? Because they don't prejudge their potential insured. A lot of times I know there's stories out there, of folks that walked to a house and they were like, "There's no way that I can get anything done here. Doesn't look taken care of or anything." But once you get into the house and you talk to individuals, there's a lot more potential there than they ever would have thought. So you got to do this 100% of the time. Get to the no's. That's fine. You know what? You're going to hear no's or I can't do this. But you'll get to a lot more yeses by doing it 100% of the time. So obviously work within the client budget, but then don't forget to ask for referrals. It's always about the referrals. So you want to recruit. If you want to increase your referrals and retention, the Advantage Plus will definitely help you with that, just because of the satisfaction of the client's perspective, and also by not giving a door crack in the door for another agent to be able to get into the house for you. Quoting software. This is an important piece here. You want to make sure you download our quoting software by going to gtlic.com. When you see it up on top there under agent, it'll say quoting software, and then you hover over Advantage Plus, and then you can hit download, and they'll download it right onto your PC. Right now, quoting software off our website is only available for Windows-based systems only. Now, what happens if your policy, once a policy gets mailed or gets issued? This is what the client's going to get. They're going to get a welcome letter, they're going to get a summary of benefits, and then they're going to get their coveted GTL card. There are a couple ways you can do this with a GTL card. You can tell the client to put it away in a safe place, and after they get hospitalized, pull it out, call the customer service number, and be able to submit and ask to tell them there was this hospital, they want to submit a claim, and then start the process from there. Also, or you can tell the client you can have it in your wallet, and then when you go, if you get hospitalized and they do the walletectomy, they're going to go through and grab all the insurance cards, and as you're signing away your admittance into the hospital, they're going to you're going to sign away on the assignment of benefits forms, and anything that they'll send us a bill, and we'll pay them anything that they're due. So those are the two basic methods of how the bill payment happens. I prefer like the client keeps their card at home and deal with it on their own. So this way, once they get paid their benefit from us, they can choose how they want to, who and how they want to pay, use those benefits. One of the nice things too is that you're probably wondering is that if this is all they're getting is a welcome letter and a summary of benefits, well, what about their policy? Well, we're going to store their policies on our website at gtlic.com, and as part of the welcome letter, they're going to get instructions on how to access their policy on our website 24/7, 365 days a year. So you're not going to get that phone call saying, I lost my policy, I don't know where it is. You can just simply say, well, go to gtlic.com, and you can get access to it from there. So that's I think it's a very, very friendly way of helping out the clients. So big question that I ask is, what do you think Advantage Plus is? What is Advantage Plus? To me, it's a moot buster. I think I kind of thought about this as this year the remake of one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, Ghostbusters, occurred. Kind of thought about the same thing. You know what? That's exactly what Advantage Plus is. It takes care of the moot. That's what you're worried about. You're not worried about the nickel and diming that $10, $15 kind of copays that are going on. You're worried about the big stuff, the stuff that gets your clients to $6,700. So that's what the Advantage Plus is. To me, and hopefully to you, it would become the moot buster for you. Now, some contact information because we're here to support you as well as Insurance Advisors Direct. That so we're here to help out. If you need help with anything, sales support, they can get supplies to you, product questions or anything like that. You can reach sales support at 800-323-6907. Our website has access to GT Link, which is where you can get forms and download those and print them out in a pinch if you need an application, get your commission statements, and then our agent portal. A number that probably gets used as much as it should is the new business number. The new business number, I throw this out here to everybody because you're going to come across clients that'll say, well, I was treated for this or I was treated for that, and you're like, I'm not sure how that falls into the health questions. Feel free to contact our underwriter and ask them, how that question should be answered. If you contact them at 800-635-1993, they'll be able to help you, at least guide you down the right path. Our folks are available here at GTL from 7 to 5 Monday through Thursday, and then 8 to 12 on Fridays. Then our customer service number here is below. Now, we do have some other products outside of our hospital indemnity plan. I know I spent all the time talking about that because there's a lot to talk about with it, but we do also have a standalone cancer plan that also has a standalone heart attack stroke policy. Great policy to be able to add on to Medicare supplement plans as just as a standalone product, to help take care of out-of-pocket exposures to cancer, as we mentioned, because it's not about the treatment of cancer. It really is about the indirect cost of cancer that when you're talking from a med sup perspective, that could really hurt somebody's bank accounts or investment amounts down the road here. So I think if you're not selling cancer or you are selling cancer, take a look at that CHS Protection Plus. It's a very, very strong product with recurrence benefits very similar to what I described on our lump sum benefit here. We also have a short-term nursing home product, which is called Recover Cash. Also another great product to be able to add on to MedSup sales, to help take care of the what if Medicare doesn't pay for a short-term nursing home stay, or maybe your clients, instead of going in for skilled nursing, maybe they're going in for custodial or immediate care. That's where a short-term care policy could definitely be of help to your clients. We could definitely if you got questions about that, I'm more than happy to answer. Talk to you at another time about those products, or Jason and his team could talk to you about any of the CHS or the Recover Cash products also. So with that being said, thank you very much for your attention and your attendance today, and I appreciate it, and look forward to working with all of you.
All right, thank you, Dimitri. Appreciate you going through all of that. Before we end our discussion this morning, just a couple of questions I noticed here off to the side we can go ahead and answer real quick, and then we'll have Mark speak for just a moment. Looks like, Victor, yes, we actually are putting together here at Insurance Advisors Direct, we do actually have a Medicare Advantage sales piece that you're referring to. Basically, you're asking, can we create a piece that would show these various options that you can take into your client to lay out the full options, both with the Medicare Advantage and with the GTL hospital indemnity plan attached with the various benefits included. We do have a piece that we're actually working on that agents can take into the home to do a better job and a more effective job presenting these products in conjunction with a Medicare Advantage or maybe a high deductible F type sale. So those will be coming soon. Just keep an eye out for that announcement. And then you also asked if the plan benefits coordinate. Of course, this is an indemnity plan, so it would not coordinate with any other coverage. It doesn't matter regardless of what their coverage is, how much is being paid. This plan will pay that indemnity amount that you've chosen at the beginning of the policy, regardless. And again, so hopefully that answers your questions there. If you have if anyone else has any other questions, please go ahead and type those into the box, and we'll address them before we hang up. But before we do end this, I did want to have Mark Covert come onto the phone. You'll be hearing from Mark after this event. He'll be doing some follow-up with each of you to answer questions. Make sure you have contracting and product information. But Mark has been working very closely with a number of agents who have been successfully selling these in conjunction with Medicare Advantage plans. And I just wanted to have him share with you some of the ideas that they use, some of the ways they're using this, as well as some of the feedback that he's getting from the field. So, Mark, if you want to jump in there.
Sure. Thanks, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here this morning with everybody. I want to briefly touch on something Dimitri said earlier in the presentation. We've kind of focused here on the MA space, package selling this, which it's very easy to do, but I want to remind people who are online today with us that the initial issue age on this policy is age 40. And we're seeing agents in the under age 65 market, particularly in the ACA markets, finding success packaging this up with the high deductible major med plans that are out there. So for those of you that are working in that space, there's definitely an opportunity for the hospital indemnity plan. Where we're also seeing some success with it is agents in the med sub markets are packaging this with a high deductible F plan. So for those of you that like the high deductible F plan set, there's an opportunity in that market as well. I want to just also remind everybody that's on the webinar this morning that it's a very easy premium to calculate as it's available on our CSG tool. It simply is an add-on there. When you're in the MA tools quoting, you're going to find a button that says fill the gaps, and you can quote all of these things in a matter of seconds. So with that being said, for those of you that do not have access to our CSG tool yet, number one, you may not be contracted with us, so get to us, let's get you on board with us, and we certainly can give you access to that. And number two, for those of you who are on board with us, if you're not familiar with how to get in there, give us a call. We'll walk you through it, and we certainly want you to take advantage of it because it's very quick, it's very simple, and you can actually provide your copy, your client with hard copy here so you can show them the numbers in black and white, and I know a lot of seniors appreciate that. So, Jason, in closing here, I just want to share with our group this morning, I actually had the pleasure of speaking with a agent who was contracted with us yesterday, and she wanted me to share with you folks that this thing really does work, as she is a real-life example of that, using this policy currently for her mother's care. Not only does her mother have a $600 a day 10-day hospital period, and she said, I like that because, as Dimitri alluded to earlier, things changed. Initially, her out-of-pocket exposure with her original MA plan was 4 days, then it went to 5, now it's up to 6. So she's greatly appreciative of the fact that she kind of planned ahead, as she called it. And secondly, she attached a skilled nursing rider to it, which she is currently utilizing for her mother as well. So she's very grateful that GTL has the policy, and like she said, we're unfortunately reaping the benefit of the policy. So with that, Jason, I'll turn it back over to you, and we can close up the meeting.
All right. Well, thank you, Mark. And again, thank you, Dimitri. Doesn't look like we've had any other questions, but hopefully everyone here today has seen that these plans really are of great benefit to your clients. There is a need for these plans, and we really encourage you to be talking about these options. You, of course, know they exist. You know there's value, and it's a very easy sale when it's packaged properly. It's, again, when related to Medicare Advantage, it's right on the scope of appointment. So, obviously it's known that these are of benefit to help offset the costs of out-of-pocket expenses that your clients will be responsible for under the Medicare Advantage programs. And this is one of the best programs out there, both the benefits built into the basic policy as well as the add-on benefits and features that are available. So, Dimitri, thank you. You gave us a lot of good ideas on how to use these and how to position these products in our sales. And again, we encourage each of you to go out there and use these products, not only now, but definitely be prepared because, of course, AEP is just a few months ahead, and a great time to be meeting with people and offering these solutions to them. So, again, thank you, everyone, for spending this time with us. Hopefully it was of value to you, and if you have any additional questions, of course, you can contact us. You'll see our 800 number there, and we will be reaching out to each of you individually. So, again, thank you. Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you, Mark. Anything else you guys would like to add before we end?
No, good. Thank you.
All right.
I'm good to go,
All right.
Jason.
Excellent. Well, good. Well, everyone have a great rest of your day. Bye now.